This is the AI camera. It's just like a normal security camera type housing. Inside there's a quad core computer that does all the AI processing. It's actually running Google's Tensorflow framework. Right now it's running MobileNet, but you can pretty much put any AI you want on there, including training your own. So it does real-time image detection of whatever the camera is looking at. So that allows neat things like identifying people or classifying objects if a log falls off a conveyor, or if there's a black spot on a board, or if there's an animal somewhere that there shouldn't be, or a truck somewhere that there shouldn't be, or any of these things. This camera allows that to be performed in real time, where it would pretty much be impossible to achieve with other types of sensors. So inside, it just opens up like a normal security camera. So inside, once we open up the housing, there's not really a lot of hardware. It does do power over Ethernet, so there's no need for additional cabling. You just run the Ethernet cable to the unit, and it powers up automatically off of your power over Ethernet compatible switch. The processor is right there. That does all of the video encoding, all of the network processing, as well as running the AI itself. That all occurs on that board. This little ribbon cable connects to the camera module in the front. Those camera modules are swappable. You can put any module you like pretty much onto that. Right now it has a reasonably wide angle lens. The low light performance is not very good, but that's, again, they're completely interchangeable. This also does double duty as a Wi-Fi access point with VLAN support. So in addition to deploying a camera, you can actually cheaply deploy some a secondary or supplementary Wi-Fi access points in your plant, which is also very handy, since it is VLAN aware and does have Wi-Fi hardware on board. So I've powered up the camera module right now just over a normal power over Ethernet enabled switch. So there's only one wire, just a normal Ethernet cable being connected to this right now. All you do is you just connect to it through the IP address. It has an open port 8080, which is just streaming MJPEG video, which can be used by just about any device out there. So you can connect to a server or anything really. Anything that will use network video can pretty much read this thing. Also, it can output a text stream, text data, or anything else you like, really. Even it can do GPIO just for digital inputs on a PLC if you prefer. So just like dry contact 24 volt AC type thing to trigger a PLC is very possible. If you want to do like a person detection, if it sees a person light up a light or something, or tell the PLC to turn off the conveyor, that's all very possible. So I'm just going to aim this camera around at a few different items in my shop right now, just a couple. It can do 80 different items. It is trained on 80 common items. Some items are trained better than others, like people. It's very tuned into people, but other items not so much. This is just an apple, just as a demonstration. This is a feed apple that I was giving to the beavers. It seems to find that quite easily. Here's a little lawn chair that I had in my shop. It recognizes a chair. So there we go. It can see a laptop. It seems to think that the keyboard is a remote, but it's So the interesting thing about neural nets is it sometimes, see, there we go, it just detected it as a keyboard. The interesting things about neural nets, and there we go, there's a bottle, water bottle. Yep, it can fairly reliably detect the water bottle, and interestingly enough, all it needed to see was a piece of my hand to detect a person. There we go, cell phone. Yep, it knows cell phones. And again, it can only see a little bit of me, and it knows that there's a person there, which is quite impressive. So if a person is obscured behind a piece of equipment or whatever, or anything, it can still typically find and detect that there's a person there.
So that's the AI camera, and as you can see, the classification isn't perfect. It doesn't always 100% reliably detect items, but and in other cases, it knows it sees something it recognizes, but it might misclassify it. Like it might see a spoon and say it's a knife or something along that line. But some of the items that it's trained on, it detects much more reliably than others, because it's all given source material. If you feed it 100,000 images of a person and 3,000 images of a fork, it's going to be much more reliable given detecting a person than a fork. So it's just how much you feed the AI. So that's what's running on board right there, is a Google Tensorflow. And the hardware is actually quite low power, but it can be beefed up if you need higher frame rate or more responsiveness. There are actually accelerator chips that you can plug in that offload a lot of the AI processing to bespoke AI hardware that greatly accelerates the detection. And you can even use larger models to do more advanced detection as well. Anyway, that is the AI camera.